right, so let's get into CJ electives, okay? As I mentioned before, you just need to take 8 CJ electives in order to fulfill the electives requirement for this major. And you could take any 8 courses, any 8 elective courses from any of the 4 categories. Now, what are those 4 categories? They are administration of justice, crime and delinquency, legal studies, and working with diverse communities. And by the way, this really allows you to customize your experience as a criminal justice studies major according to your personal interests and your future professional interests. So if you want to go into law, you can do take a lot more electives in legal studies, right? And when you look at your degree progress report, which is an online tool on Gateway, which allows you to see how you're progressing on your non-major university requirements and your major requirements, you'll see something like this. And it'll, this is for CJ major. And you'll see the 4 areas, elective areas. Remember, if you've got a red box in one of those 4 categories when it comes time to graduation, that should have been worked out. But just in case you do, all that matters is that you have 8 CJ electives. Okay. So add up the electives when it comes time to graduating. And if you've got a minimum of 8 electives, you fulfill this requirement. And they can come from any combination of the 4 areas. Now, some transfer students have taken classes that at your community college that are recognized as either AJ2 or AJ4. And it's going to depend on which community college you went to because it's going to vary. But just a quick heads up. If under the administration of justice area, you see an AJ2 course, or underneath the legal studies area in the elective section of your degree progress report, you see AJ4. That one or both classes can count towards your 8 electives. And again, that is just for incoming transfer students who have taken the equivalent of these courses at their community college. And if you have any questions about that, you can look up assist.org and look at the agreement between SF State and your community college to see which of those 2 classes would be the equivalent of at your community college. Now, moving forward, I want to give you all a heads up about 2-for-1 classes that you can take. Some CJ electives also satisfy the general or university requirements. So when you look at your degree progress report and you notice you have some university or general university requirements that are pending, that means that they have like a red box next to them. You might be able to find a CJ elective that satisfies that requirement or requirements. So how to do that? We have, on the roadmap, which is a document we have to help students know about what classes they can take to fulfill the major requirements. You'll see after a course title, you'll see some parentheses which indicate which requirements a CJ elective meets. And most readily, CJ electives easily fulfill the following general university requirements. So within the upper division general education requirements, you can take a CJ elective that satisfies a UDC, the upper division arts and or humanities requirement, or a upper division social sciences, what's also labeled as a UDD. This also applies to SF State studies requirements, AERM, which is American Ethnic and Racial Minorities, environmental sustainability, which is represented by ES, global perspectives, which is represented by GP, and social justice. So here's a sample image of that roadmap I mentioned. I took a screenshot of it and slapped it up here. So for example, if you look at the first course underneath working with diverse communities, which by the way, working with diverse communities has the most, the highest concentration of classes that satisfy non-major, the university requirements. So for example, Asian American Studies 595, that satisfies, if you look at the parentheses I mentioned at the end, it says UDD, AERM, and social and SJ. So that means that that one class will not only count as a CJ elective, but it'll also satisfy the UDD requirement, the AERM, the American Ethnic and Racial Minorities requirement, as well as a social justice requirement, right? And you could look at other ones. For example, RRS 571, Women, Class, and Race satisfies UDC, AERM, ES, Global Perspectives, and Social Justice. So that one CJ elective satisfies multiple requirements. Okay, so something for you to keep in mind. This is a great way for you to strategically knock out multiple requirements at once. So stay tuned, folks. I'm just going to have some few words to wrap up. And yeah, so stay tuned.